can I share an experiment that I ran
Let's
a few
hear it.
years ago? Okay, so I ran this experiment. So 2.5 years ago, I'm running Software Engineering Daily. Podcast ad sales are doing really well. I'm trying to spin up this company, Find Collabs. My idea was like the Quora for projects. Like, don't worry
cool.
about it. It was a cool idea. We don't need to talk about that now. But at the same time, I was starting to get into investing a little bit more, starting to make some personal investments. And I interviewed this guy about the subject of cryptojacking. Do you know cryptojacking? Have you ever heard that term?
Yeah, you basically take compute resources and do mining. Yeah.
Yeah. So like imagine you have a rogue Chrome extension, and the Chrome extension is mining Bitcoin in your browser.
This is one of I was a first investor in Redlock, which Palo Alto Networks bought for $200 million. This is one of their first use cases.
Okay.
It happens.
Perfect.
It happened on the corporate level.
Dude, it happens everywhere.
Yeah.
Basically, every place you have a spare compute cycle, somebody's trying to cryptojack it from you.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of crazy. Anyway, so there was this guy who wrote a blog post about cryptojacking. He was from South America, some young kid. He was like 17 or 18, and maybe even 16. He was very young. So he wrote this blog post about cryptojacking. I brought him on for an interview, and he was just very sharp. And immediately after the interview, I said, "Look, I don't care what you're building. I want to invest in it. I think this is really interesting. You're clearly very
cool.
You're very knowledgeable about cryptojacking. This seems like a nascent area. Do you want to build a product in this space?" And he's like, "Yeah, I already am building a product." He starts working on cryptojacking. And I said, "Okay, how much, like, I don't have very much money. Like, what's the minimum I can invest? Can I put in $5,000 or $2,500?" And and he said, "Yeah, well, let's do like 6,250." For some reason, he said 6,250. Okay, sure, 6,250. Wire it straight to your bank account. He starts sending me investor updates. I think I was the only investor in this situation. No. He was also an accelerator. So he's going through the process. And by the way, this is not at all critical of anything that he did, because he managed his money and managed his experience as an entrepreneur certainly no worse than I have. But throughout that process, he pivoted from cryptojacking to marketing tools, and then from marketing tools back to something in crypto, and then from crypto back to something in marketing tools. And he went back and forth and back and forth. And I very quickly realized, okay, if you're trying to do pre-seed, this is going to be a common failure mode, where basically you have somebody who pivots into oblivion. They don't feel enough conviction about their idea, or they're like kind of early, because like an entrepreneur, every entrepreneur goes through a different journey. Is your first idea the thing that you're going to work on for the rest of your life? For some entrepreneurs, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
They know their mission. They know what God endowed them with to build. But other people are just like, yeah, I'm in it for the money, or I'm in it for the fun, or I'm in it for the hustle, and I'm just looking for my idea, and I'm pivoting from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing.
Yeah.
All I'm really looking for is that operational, smoothness, where I can recruit a team and raise money and things are going to go well, and then I'm going to exit, and then I'm going to go do my next thing. That's fine. Those are different sides of a spectrum. And I think this guy kind of hadn't really figured out what his startup ideation, bake the pie in the oven framing was. And so he pivoted into oblivion. But that said, I would bet on him again in a heartbeat. If he came to me and said, I've got a new idea, I would say, that's great. I've got some more capital. Like, let's do it.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know.
I think I know where you're getting to. There has to be some like math, like we still operate in like a profit driven, like you have to keep the lights on, right? For the endowments, for the nonprofits, for the LPs, to the GPs who need to pay their salaries and so forth. But there's probably some like mathematical function that like works where there's a small enough amount of money, which is almost like part educational or part like just like purely risk driven, where
it's like a grant.
Yeah, it's a grant.
It's an entrepreneurship grant.
Totally, it's an entrepreneurship grant, and like it'd be pretty amazing if universities had this as a.
Oh my god, like, that would be a godsend.
Yeah, and I guess in Europe, people are a little bit more flexible with this, but in the U.S., like not so much. I mean, I think if like how many friends of yours in college just like stopped and came back with the support of their school? Like
halted for a little bit.
Yeah,
and came back?
Halted being a student.
Dude,
and like,
I did that.
Well, okay, you did that. How many people are like you?
I mean, probably, I don't know, a fourth of the people I know, or the fifth of the people I know. Like,
that's awesome. You're around the right people then.
Dude, college is a great place to have some kind of existential crisis or health crisis or whatever, and like stop out for a little bit and go through that experience, and like yeah, tons of people go through that.
Yeah, for me, like my experience would be like less so. Like I don't know that many people where like in their university, the dean would be like, "Oh, great! Like you want to just like stop and work at like some company for a year? Like sounds good. Like we'll be here when you get
Oh,
back."
you're talking about working at a company for a little bit.
Yeah, or like something
okay.
something along those lines.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, like that doesn't happen nearly
Sure,
as much.
apprenticeship or trade school kind of doesn't. That's what Waterloo does, right?
Yeah, Waterloo does that, and
Waterloo
like
systematizes that.
and European schools do it, and I think it's a really, really, really good thing. Something like what I'm doing with Preface is like there's a version of this where I'll go and give $500,000 for someone who had built something internally at a big company that's in the thesis area that I care about and like I'm passionate about, and to say like, hey, like leave your job, I will be with you. We haven't done that just yet, but like there's one or two folks right now, which actually arguably, yeah, it's happening like as we speak. You know, you're like I want to break you out of jail. Like that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. I want to break these people out of jail to like enable them to like build for themselves and like they'll surprise themselves and they'll surprise others because it's so crazy. Sometimes you don't even know how good you are or how good.
Well, that's for sure.
Yeah, but you just have to put yourself in the right environment, right? Yeah, founders get in touch. People can believe in you. You know, people can believe in you if you just find the right match.
So that's actually I think probably the thing that attracted me. So I started listening to This Week in Startups, the Jason Calacanis program in college. And this was a senior year. So it's senior year of college. I have no idea what venture capital is. I know nothing about private investing. I was just looking for what podcasts are available. I found Seth Godin's Startup School and I found This Week in Startups.
Wow, good for you.
Did you ever listen to Seth Godin's?
I listened to
show?
This Week in Startups. I did not listen to Seth Godin's one.
Okay.
No, but like how many years ago was this?
This was in college, senior year. I'm totally floundering. I'm barely passing my classes. I'm extremely depressed. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. You know, I'm like about to go work at a corporate job. I don't really want to work at a corporate job. I'm like wondering what has gone wrong with my life to go into this trajectory.
Oh man.
And I found This Week in Startups. I found Seth Godin's Startup School, and it was kind of the first glimmer of like, oh, there's actually a viable creative reality out there for me that I would want to engage in.
Viable creative reality. I like that.
Which was amazing because, you know, I was in one of the top 10 computer science schools in the United States, but I hadn't really been exposed to the concept of entrepreneurship or even really creativity as applied to computer science. Really, my only notions of computer science were this is an art that is used to serve your corporate masters.
What do you think is missing? So when you were in that situation, and I hear you like you found some resources via podcast, but like, what do you wish you had more of? Did you
in
like
college?
Yeah, like is there something like
encouragement? This is like one of the bigger problems with the United States is we basically have like an epidemic of apathy or cynicism.
Yeah.
Where it's and I've fallen victim to this, of course. Like certainly during the pandemic, I kind of was afflicted by a deep, deep sense of cynicism and pessimism. And I understand that basically you get trapped in mental loops sometimes that put you in a pessimistic nature. And that's a fundamental problem of human nature. And it's something we have to solve at a societal level, and by a societal or cultural or anthropological level, where you say, look, it is one of the jobs of the groups of people that we are within to lift up people who have been sort of trapped into some sort of negative mental loop. Because ultimately that's all it is. It's a negative mental loop, and we can help release you from it if we give you the right, whatever, neurolinguistic programming or something. Right? Like, that's what I find so interesting about podcasts is you're choosing your neurolinguistic programming, basically.
Nice. I get you now.
Right?
I get you even more.
That's podcasting to me, is passive neurolinguistic programming.
And you get to choose who you or less.
You get to choose. Like,
this is why an entrepreneurship's awesome like this too, right? Because you get to choose who to work with. Like, it's amazing. Like, you never need to, you can be and build and create like your ride or die army of people with you forever. And it's your choice.
Man, that's you.
Yeah. Likewise, man. Likewise.